What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today I redid some of my predictions that I did in earlier videos. I'm gonna keep those on the channel just to show what my earlier predictions were and how much I have changed them. Changed some of them, whether they're being injuries or a new player like the Titans getting Julio, or I just completely changed my opinion. Like, there's some of them, like, I changed the Rams and the Niners one because the Rams, I think I made them worse because of bias, and I really don't like them. And then the Niners, I was basing them too much off of their Super Bowl run, and I just think I overrated them a little too much. So I fixed some of them, and here we go. We're gonna get into them. We're gonna talk about them. Uh, I have the Ravens and the Browns both at 12-5, but the Ravens winning it. I think these are the best two teams in the AFC North. I think they're going to be battling it out. I don't think they're good enough to be the 2 or the 1 seed. Either teams are, but I think they'll be battling it out. Or I think the Browns have a chance of getting the 2 or the 1 seed, but I think they should be around the 3 seed or 5 because the Ravens are ahead of them right now. So I think this is perfectly for both teams as Browns. I think they have a shot at the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a tougher road than people think the Browns will have. I have the Steelers. They actually are in the 7th seed at 8-9. I'm sorry, but Big Ben is regressing. They didn't get better at all this year. If anything, they got completely worse, losing key pieces, losing some guys. Well, not really key pieces, but losing guys. Like, didn't they lose David DeCastro? Like, I know he was older, but it's going to affect you somehow. Bud Dupree, they lost. So it might be a little, they're regressing. Their starting quarterback is regressing. Really, the only thing that they added this offseason is Najee Harris, and I don't think that's going to do enough to push them that much. But they still will make the playoffs, according to Playoff Predictor, of course. Bengals at 6-11, they made key improvements, in my opinion, but I don't think they made enough to be able to run this division and try to make a playoff run. But 6-11, I think, will be a good start, especially so we can finally see Joe Burrow play a full season in the NFL. All right, going to the AFC South, the 11-6 Titans winning the division. I'm still not super high on them, but I think they're the best team in this division currently, and they have a really good offense. They just don't have the defense to back it up, so that's why they're 11-6. I have the Colts going down even more because, let's see, Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson are both currently injured, so I'm not 100% sure how long. I didn't really look that up, didn't look into it, but I know it's a foot injury, and I think they could possibly miss like 5 to 12 weeks. And I think that's possible that they miss the first few weeks, which will start even more slow, and they have a pretty tough schedule as you can look at it. Uh, I think all of these first losses, teams are just better. And I also think they have the opportunity to lose to the Niners, and they have opportunity to lose to any team basically. But I just really think their schedule is tough for them to try to win this division. Jaguars again make improvements from last year, but not good enough yet. I don't have faith in Urban Meyer, and I don't think the team is quite there yet. Anyway, 2-15 Texans. Texans are awful without Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson ends up leaving, it's going to be 0-16. I promise you that. Most likely, I highly doubt they'll even be able to win a game without Deshaun Watson. The East, the Bills at 14-3. They're really good. I just don't think they really improved a whole lot from last year. I think they will just make improvements from just practicing and getting better together as a team. But I don't think they're. I still think they're like just a step behind the Chiefs, but it might be like half a step. Well, I think it's more than this year than it was last year, but so they're 14-3, and then Dolphins at 12-5. I know it's like a few games better than last year. I don't fully trust Tua yet, and well, I guess we'll just find out. But I think they're the second best team in here. I could see them going 13-4, but I think I predicted it pretty well. And we got the Patriots going 8-9, just missing out on the playoffs. A lot of people are high on the Patriots, but I just don't think they have their quarterback situation figured out. Cam Newton, if he starts, they're not making the playoffs with Cam Newton. I'm sorry, he's just not good enough. And if Mac Jones starts, he's a rookie. I think he needs a year or two to develop. I think he's one of the developmental quarterbacks, so I don't think they would be able to make it this year. But they do have a pretty good roster, so that's why I have them 8-9. Jets, they get a little bit better by I think 2 games. 2 games at 5-12. They just need a whole lot of more improvements, and Zach Wilson needs to develop. And so yeah, that's why I have them at 5-12. Chiefs I have at 15-2. If there was a team to go 16-0, this would be the team. I just didn't think it was just a good call because I feel like they will eventually lose games, especially the way they just sleptwalked through the regular season. Had a whole bunch of close games, but the only thing that I could see being a problem is Frank Clark being arrested, so it will hurt their pass rushing ability. And if they do worse, it'll probably be because of that. But their offense is the best offense in the league. There's no offense that compares to it. They've reworked that offensive line. They still have Tyreek Hill. The only possible hole is their their receiving core, as I don't think Miko Hardman or Demarcus Robinson are really a great number 2 receiver, but I think they're good enough to still be really good and better than a lot of people's number 2 receivers. So Chargers 6-11. I think they're people are overrating them a bit. I'm sorry, but they just haven't really been able to stay healthy ever, and I don't think Justin Herbert can really carry them to the playoffs. So 6-11, I think, is where they'll be at this year. I think they will continue to improve, and with a new head coach, he'll get into that head coach groove, and hopefully by next year they'll be better. Raiders 5-12. Raiders just they got worse this year. You can't even deny that they got worse, and they aren't good at drafting in the first round. I honestly, I think this is probably the worst team in this division, especially if the Broncos can figure out their quarterback situation. And next off, 5-12 Broncos. Broncos have a really talented roster. They just don't have a quarterback. So, yeah, they just won't be good without a quarterback. As you can see, they haven't been good for a while because they can't figure out their quarterback position. And then we're gonna go up into the NFC North. Packers 14-3. Rodgers is coming back. Devontae will be playing for that last dance, so I think they'll do really well, just like last year. And either way, there's nobody in the division that even compares to them in skill. So it's just an obvious pick to be the division winner. I could see them losing a few more games, but all in all, they are going to be the best team out of the North, so it doesn't really matter in that standpoint. Vikings 8-9. I realistically think this is probably maybe winning like maybe 10-7, 9-8 is their ceiling. But they can go like way worse, and I think it's between them and the Bears for the number 2, and I don't think either of them are playoff teams. Bears I have at 7-10. I think they would be better than the Vikings, but we haven't seen what Justin Fields can do yet, and we haven't seen this team fully being able to play together, and they lost Kyle Fuller, so I just think it's not going to be a very good year, but I think towards the end of the season, we'll see Justin Fields come into his own and make the Packers look good and give make the Bears look good and give Bears fans hope for the next season. Lions, they're awful, 2-15. I think they will play better than a 2-15 team, though. I think they will play better than the Texans will be. So yeah. Going on to the South, Buccaneers 13-4. They're just the most talented team in this division. They're coming off a Super Bowl, and I think there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to win this division, especially from the Saints. I think they've regressed way too much, and yeah. So Panthers 8-9. I think they've improved. I still think they need to find a better quarterback. I think Sam Darnold's a bust. So yeah. But this defense is really talented. They have a pretty talented offense. I just don't think Sam Darnold can put it together. But I do think if Sam Darnold can be a game manager, they have the opportunity to make the playoffs. An opportunity. Not saying they will. Saints, I think they've just completely regressed. I don't think they're good. They're not going to be good this season. And a lot of people, they want to say they might make the playoffs, but they've lost their quarterback. They've lost a lot of other pieces. And I just don't think they're going to be good with Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill under center, and they're going to go 7-10. And this may be even too high than they might actually, but I think it's pretty good. Falcons 6-11. I still don't like their defense. I think they lost more pieces than they gained. And what did they add really was Kyle Pitts, which I don't think they really needed Kyle Pitts. It's going to help their offense, but their offense may be able to score 30 to 40 points a game, but their defense is letting up 50, so that's a little over proportion, but I just think 6-11 is how they're going to do. The NFC least, aka the NFC East, I have the Cowboys winning at 9-8. I know a lot of people are going to want it to be a football team because they won it last year and they have that talented defense, but I think the Cowboys are the most talented roster in the East. I think they, I think they have such a talented roster. They shouldn't even be 9-8. Like, you shouldn't even think that. But coaching and ownership, all of that leads to terrible play by the Cowboys year in and year out. So I think 9-8 is a pretty good prediction, and they will definitely best the football team. As football team 8-9, they're the second best team in here. If the Cowboys didn't have such a talented roster, they would be in the playoffs. It's not like they need. I think they just need a better offense. I don't really know much about their offensive line, but their receiving core, it's really just Terry McLaurin. I know they pick up Curtis Samuel, but they don't really have a quarterback to lead that offense. And if you really think Fitzpatrick will make the football team's offense better than the Cowboys' entire team just because their defense is good, then I'm sorry, you're just wrong. And I mean, I'm not. That's kind of like as if the Cowboys play at their full normal ability because they could get injured and they could play like they did last year. But I think a healthy team, even with the coaching setbacks, I think they're still better than the football team. 7-10 Giants, they're not going to do anything with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He's probably either the worst quarterback or the second worst. I still don't know about Jalen Hurts yet. But we'll see. That's why the Eagles are 4-13. They're a terrible team with a new coach who I'm not even sure on the new coach. I haven't seen him coach anywhere else really. So 4-13. We have the 13-4 Rams. I think they are going to be fighting with the Seahawks for the best team in the West. Really, the entire West is going to be fighting for themselves. I think the Rams are such a talented team, and Stafford brought a level to the Rams that just they didn't have with Jared Goff. This team is going to be super good, especially with that defense, and they're going to have a high-powered offense again. Rams are Super Bowl contenders. I don't like it. I don't like saying that. I don't want them to win the Super Bowl, but I think if there's any team uh, in the NFC that's going to win the Super Bowl, I feel like it's going to be the Rams this year. I really like the Rams, and we have Seahawks 13-4. They're still the second best team in the division. I know people want to say the Niners or maybe even the Cardinals, and the Seahawks are taking a step back. But if you see the improvements they made this year, you can't really say that. I think they've gotten better as a team, other than the cornerback position. But I really don't think Shaquille Griffin was this great corner that really would affect our defense that much. I still think with the corners we have in right now, we'll be perfectly fine, and hopefully we can get the defense of how they played towards the end of the year last year. And then we have the 11-6 Cardinals. Uh, Something seems like they're going to do worse than this just because it's the Cardinals. They always like to mess things up, but I have an 11-6 prediction. I think they're going to be able to put everything together this year and hopefully make it to the playoffs and try to make a playoff run. But will they? I guess we'll see. Now the Niners at 9-8. I know people are going to look at their Super Bowl year and be like, "Well, you're just biased. The Niners are obvious Super Bowl contenders." I don't agree with that because they were really hurt, and you never know. Some of the injuries were pretty bad, so a lot of their players could regress. And I just don't think their offense is as good as they once were. And now with the quarterback controversy, I don't think Garoppolo has it anymore. And I don't think who did they just draft? His name is popping in my head right now. Trey Lance. I just don't think he'll be ready this year. I think he's going to be a developmental quarterback like Mac Jones will be. And all in all, they will struggle this year more than you think. And I think they'll be back next year and be really good and be fighting for the top of the division, just like all of these teams are right now. But I can't put them much higher. I maybe 10-7, but I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in this team. So yeah, that is my predictions right now. Let me know if you agree or disagree on some of them. Put them down in the comment section. Like the video, I guess. Subscribe if you'd like to. I will be posting what I think will happen in the playoffs tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I'll be posting this video, but when this video comes up, it'll be tomorrow for you. I'll be posting the playoffs. So, stay tuned for that.